Episode 56SW, April 9, 2024. PM2.5 and backpacking stoves, and a chimney sweep not afraid to get dirty. In episode 56SW1A, RAWSEP View of the article, the U.S. urgently needs a bigger grid. Here's a fast solution. 1B, RAWSEP View of the article Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, limits pollution from chemical plants. 1C, RAWSEP View of the article in Landmark Climate Ruling, European Court faults Switzerland. But the European Court of Human Rights ruled as inadmissible 2 other climate-related attempts to hold governments accountable. 1D, RAWSEP View that the cash spigot of the United States has so far been aimed gushing subsidies at PM2.5 polluting indoor residential wood burning and gushing subsidies at PM2.5 polluting biomass, wood burning, industries. When will the spigot be turned off? United States. The High-I.Q nonsense of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. 2A, RAWSEP View. The National Geographic takes the side of polluters. Backpacking stoves are evaluated not for the lowest PM2.5 emissions they pollute the air with, but, instead, the backpacking stoves are promoted by false advertising. Why choose to burn highly polluting wood and other highly polluting solid fuels picked up from the trail such as twig and pine nuts? In contrast, RAWSEP's pick of wind power that can be carried in a backpack. 3. Letters to the editor from Massachusetts and Canada. 3A, Massachusetts, Greenfield. Letter to the editor, kudos to Katy Eiseman for her call to end public subsidies in Massachusetts for wood-burning power plants. 3B, Canada, Manitoba, Winnipeg. Letter to the editor. Wood smoke is no different from cigarette smoke. 4. United States, West Virginia, Morgantown debate points. Home of Senator Capito, who seeks to negate the new 9 microgram per cubic meter PM2.5 annual safe air pollution limit. Sierra Club defends PM2.5 limit. 5. United States, Journal of the American Medical Association. EPA PM2.5 limits and public health relevance. 6. New York, Chautauqua, Village of Panama reminds residents of ongoing wood burning ban. 7. RAWSEP View. The fight for the right to pollute continues. New York, Rome. Rural Energy Freedom Act seeks to protect wood burning. 8. RAWSEP View. The fight for the right to pollute continues. New York, Finger Lakes. New York bill seeks to protect wood burning. Headlines. 9. California, Covina apartment fire. 10. California, Los Angeles. 40-foot pleasure craft catches fire. 11. Colorado, Northwest Colorado. RAWSEP View. It is not surprising that a chimney sweep is not afraid of getting dirty. Whether near neighbors are afraid of breathing in creosote when smoke escapes and invades the yards of near neighbors is a subject not tackled in this article. 12. Colorado, Lakewood. Park fire restrictions of wood-burning smoke. 13. Georgia, Atlanta. Goth home for sale has wood-burning fireplace. Goth is a style of rock music typically with apocalyptic or destructive lyrics. 14. Nebraska, Omaha and Council Bluffs. Pair of brush fires blanket Omaha and Council Bluffs with wood smoke. 16A. Oklahoma, Oklahoma City. Why is the air quality bad today in OKC? 16B. Oregon, North Bend. Trailer, with wood-burning stove inside, catches on fire. 17. Pennsylvania, Mahanoy City. Borough code update addresses wood-burning stoves. 18. Utah. A notorious house is up for sale, with a wood-burning stove inside. 19. Virginia, Roanoke. How to protect yourself from dangerous air pollution. 20. Canada. A smoky summer predicted. Articles alphabetic by publisher. 21. Alberta, Canada. Fort McMurray and Grande Prairie controlled burn. 22. United Kingdom. The Scottish National Parliament, SNP, ban on wood-burning stoves and new builds takes effect. Articles alphabetical by publisher. 23. Sweden, Stockholm and Laos, Lao People's Democratic Republic, provincial level air quality. 25. Africa, Kenya, Kirinyaga County. Handout of gas cylinders to replace polluting wood burning. 26. India. Air pollution-related terminologies awareness low among urban poor. Articles alphabetical by publisher. 27. India, Delhi. Air quality poor. 28. Mongolia, Ulan Bator. PM2.5 level improves. 29. Nepal, Kathmandu and third worst air pollution globally. 30. Thailand. PM2.5 and tourism affected.
31. Thaïlande, Chiang Mai.
NASA observance of hazy skies. 32. PM2.5 and fuel use. 33. PM2.5 and hemoglobin levels and anemia. 34. PM2.5 and intra-urban variability. 35. PM2.5 and seasonal variation. 1A, RAWSEP View of the article. The U.S. urgently needs a bigger grid. Here's a fast solution. https://www.newyorktimes.com/2024/04/09/climate/electric-grid-more-powered. HTML excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. One of the biggest obstacles to expanding clean energy in the United States is a lack of power lines. Building new transmission lines can take a decade or more because of permitting delays and local opposition. But there may be a faster, cheaper solution, according to 2 reports released Tuesday. In Montana, Northwestern Energy recently replaced part of an aging line with advanced conductors to reduce wildfire risk. The new line sagged less in the heat, making it less likely to make contact with trees. Pleased with the results, Montana legislators passed a bill that would give utilities financial incentives to install advanced conductors. A bill in Virginia would require utilities to consider the technology. With electricity demand beginning to surge for the first time in 2 decades because of new data centers, factories, and electric vehicles, creating bottlenecks on the grid, many utilities are getting over their wariness about new technologies. 1B, RAWSEP View of the article Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, limits pollution from chemical plants. https://www.newyorktimes.com https://2024/04/09/climate/EPA-pollution-chemical-plants. HTML excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. More than 200 chemical plants across the country will be required to curb the toxic pollutants they release into the air under a regulation announced by the Biden administration on Tuesday to reduce the risk of cancer for people living near industrial sites. This is the first tightening of limits on pollution from chemical plants in nearly 20 years. The new EPA rule targets ethylene oxide, which is used to sterilize medical devices, and chloroprene, which is used to make rubber and footwear. The EPA has classified the two chemicals as likely carcinogens. They are considered a top health concern in an area of Louisiana so dense with petrochemical and refinery plants that it is known as Cancer Alley. Communities in proximity to the plants have elevated rates of cancer, respiratory problems, and premature deaths. 1C, RAWSEP view of the article in Landmark Climate Ruling, European Court faults Switzerland. But the European Court of Human Rights ruled as inadmissible two other climate-related attempts to hold governments accountable. https://www.newyorktimes.com/2024/04/09/world/Europe/climate-human-rights. HTML excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. The Swiss government had argued that human rights law does not apply to climate change, and that addressing it should be a political process. But Switzerland's Federal Office of Justice, which represents the country at the European Court, said in a statement that the Swiss authorities would analyze the judgment and examine the measures which Switzerland has to take for the future. The ruling is the latest decision in a broader wave of climate-related lawsuits that aim to push governments to act against global warming, including in the United States, where a judge ruled last year that Montana's failure to consider climate change when approving fossil fuel projects was unconstitutional. American states themselves have also sued corporations, including oil and gas companies, over claims that they played down the risk of fossil fuels. In the case decided on Tuesday, a group of Swiss women aged 64 and up, known as the Klimaseniorinnen, or Senior Women for Climate Protection, argued that the Swiss government's failure to reduce greenhouse emissions enough to stop global warming had violated their rights. 1D, RAWSEP view that the cash spigot of the United States has so far been aimed gushing subsidies at PM2.5 polluting indoor residential wood burning and gushing subsidies at PM2.5 polluting biomass, wood burning, industries. When will the spigot be turned off? United States. The High-I.Q nonsense of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. https://www.newyorktimes.com/2024/06/opinion/RFK-JR-Trump-Biden. HTML April 7, 2024. Excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. April 6, 2024. The hubris, the narcissism, the convenient and fraudulent anti-elitism, the out-of-his-mind theories presented as out-of-the-box thinking. Many of us have noted how these fetching traits and tics connect Donald Trump and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is in some ways Trump with better manners, fewer lawyers, and discernible pecs. But we underplay another commonality. 1. Like Trump when he made his 2016 presidential bid, Kennedy has zero experience in elected office, a fact made comically clear in his interview last summer too. His announcement of his running mate last week, Nicole Shanahan, his running mate, is a cash spigot and fundraiser about whom Kennedy led with this. I'm guessing she probably has a higher IQ than almost anybody who I've seen in public life today. 3. He's not going away. His running mate announcement is a reminder that he could be a spoiler in this election. Although Kennedy is officially on the 2024 ballot only in Utah so far, his campaign this week said that he'd collected enough signatures to qualify for the ballot in 4 additional states. 2A, RAWSEP view. The National Geographic takes the side of polluters. Backpacking stoves are evaluated not for the lowest PM2.5 emissions they pollute the air with, but, instead, the backpacking stoves are promoted by false advertising. Why choose to burn highly polluting wood and other highly polluting solid fuels picked up from the trail such as twig and pine nuts? Excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. The National Geographic wrote, our picks for the best backpacking stoves: 1. Best overall backpacking stove, Soto Windmaster 4 Flex. 2. Best wood-burning backpacking stove, 3. Solo Stove Titan. In contrast, RAWSEP's pick of wind power that can be carried in a backpack. https://www.amazon.com/Picazola-turbine-generator-controller Amazon website. Excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Windmill/DP/B08F4SYCF7/ref equals Picasola wind turbine generator kit 400W12V with 5-blade. With charge controller, wind power generator for marine, RV, home. Windmill generator suit for hybrid solar wind system brand Picasola. Wattage 400 watts. Power source wind powered. Item weight 6.2 kilograms. Voltage 12 volts. Output wattage 400 watts. Special feature lightweight. Included components: wheels. Color white. Product dimensions 26.5 inch LX 11.8, WX 18.3, H. About this item: feature. Starting with 2.5 meters per second low wind speed. Low vibration during working. High wind energy efficiency. Wind turbine kit suitable for boat, RV, cabin, home, etc. Wind blade, 23.8 inch in length. The longer blade will generate more power. The blades are made of nylon carbon fiber, which is special on waterproof, corrosion resistant, lightweight. 2B, PM2.5 and polluting wood burning backpacking stoves from National Geographic's picks. The best backpacking stoves for your outdoor adventure. National Geographic: why we like it. If packing liquid fuel feels intimidating or even risky, a wood burning stove might be for you. It also has a low smoke design, so Why we like it. If packing liquid fuel feels intimidating or even risky, a wood-burning stove might be for you. The Solo Titan burns twigs, pine nuts, etc. 3. Letters to the editor from Massachusetts and Canada. 3A, Massachusetts, Greenfield. Letter to the editor. Kudos to Katy Eiseman for her call to end public subsidies in Massachusetts for wood-burning power plants. William Beckett. Burning wood for electricity is bad for our health. Greenfield recorder. Even if woody biomass-burning power plants did not release large amounts of planet-warming CO2, the particulate air pollution they spew into our. Kudos to Katy Eiseman for her call to end public subsidies in Massachusetts for wood-burning power plants. Must stop subsidizing wood-fired. Excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Kudos to Katy Eiseman for her call to end public subsidies in Massachusetts for wood-burning power plants. Must stop subsidizing wood-fired energy. Recorder, April 4th. Even if woody biomass-burning power plants did not release large amounts of planet-warming CO2, the particulate air pollution they spew into our breathing air creates a widespread health hazard that we can prevent by sticking with cleaner sources of energy. Eiseman is right. Air pollution particles contribute to lung disease, heart disease, and adverse birth outcomes. The majority of Americans want to breathe cleaner air, and choosing not to burn wood for electricity supports that goal. And of course, burning wood releases the stored CO2 into the global atmosphere, hastening the worst effects of global climate change for everyone on the planet. Governor Maura Healey has already endorsed removing wood from the Massachusetts Alternative Energy Portfolio Standard. Now is the time for all our state legislators to stop using our tax dollars to subsidize this form of dirty energy. William Beckett, Watertown, Massachusetts. 3B, Canada, Manitoba, Winnipeg. Letter to the editor. Wood smoke is no different from cigarette smoke. Letters, April 9th. Winnipeg Free Press. Wood smoke is no different from cigarette smoke. It's important to understand that burning wood is not a sustainable or recommended way to heat a home. Excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Wood smoke a health hazard. Canada Health has a warning about inhaling wood smoke. Wood smoke is no different from cigarette smoke. It's important to understand that burning wood is not a sustainable or recommended way to heat a home. While some may argue that burning wood saves money, it is not a valid excuse. If you can smell wood burning, you are endangering yourself, your family, and your neighbors by polluting the environment and the air we breathe. The annual increase in wildfires and recreational wood smoke can result in significant health issues. Short-term exposure to the smoke can exacerbate respiratory problems and even result in fatalities. Long-term exposure can lead to conditions such as asthma, COPD, reduced lung function, premature death, strokes, heart attacks, cancer, nervous system impairments, disruptions to normal reproductive functions, increased mortality rates, and decreased cognitive functions. Fire pits are legal in Winnipeg, and the city administration claims our bylaws are similar to other cities. However, this statement lacks transparency and is selective. Bylaws in the same cities prohibit any activity that could cause smoke or dust to enter neighboring properties. Furthermore, fire chiefs in those cities can order violators to stop burning and issue fines for further transgressions without going to court. Wood burners are responsible for their choices. It is important to use fire pits, fireplaces, and chimneys responsibly to avoid causing serious health problems to family and neighbors, and legal consequences such as injunctions, fines, and fees. Precedents exist. The sale and use of wood-burning appliances should come with health label warnings similar to tobacco products. The city administration should promptly address this issue and prioritize the health and safety of its citizens. Serge Massicot. Winnipeg. What's so green about burning trees? The false promise of biomass energy, resilience, org burning wood pellets, burning trees. For heat and electricity harms people, biodiversity, and ecosystems. 4. United States, West Virginia, Morgantown debate points. Home of Senator Capito, who seeks to negate the new 9 microgram per cubic meter PM2.5 annual safe air pollution limit. Sierra Club defends PM2.5 limit. Point counterpoint, Capito issues paper on Biden's regulatory road to ruin. Sierra Club responds Dominion Post particulate matter rule, PM2.5, $7 billion, natural gas tax rule, $390 million, increasing energy costs for consumer and deterring investment in United States. Journal of the American Medical Association. Excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Point counterpoint, Capito issues paper on Biden's regulatory road to ruin. Sierra Club responds. April 6, 2024. The Dominion Post. Morgantown. Senator Shelley Moore Capito, in her role as ranking member of the Environment and Public Works Committee, has released a report highly critical of the Biden administration's environmental agenda. The report is bluntly titled Biden's 2024 Environmental Agenda and Its Road to Ruin. The cover illustration shows a lighted warning sign that spans some interstate highway locations. This one says in bright letters, bad regulations ahead. Prepare to pay an unprecedented toll. We'll take a look at some of the report's major points here, and in a sort of point-counterpoint, offer some responses from the Sierra Club's West Virginia chapter. Capito announced the report saying, despite clear warnings from American consumers and job creators, and loss after loss in the courts, President Biden is moving full steam ahead with his crippling, unrealistic environmental agenda in 2024. Jim Kotkan, Sierra Club chapter chair, prefaced his responses with this. A key problem with that report is that it utterly fails to even mention climate change, and has only a couple references to greenhouse gases without discussing why we need to reduce those. But the EPW Republicans, he said, have no alternative means to addressing climate change. The ostrich approach of sticking their heads in the sand and ignoring the overwhelming evidence of current and impending climate impacts, all for the sake of appeasing their coal baron bosses, means the whole world will remain at risk. The report has 5 sections, and we'll look at each. Section 1. Kotkan responded, the assertion that the Biden administration has a war on energy ignores the massive investments in renewables, energy efficiency, and alternative energy sources. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act that Senator Capito voted for includes billions for hydrogen, carbon capture, plugging orphan gas wells, and cleaning up abandoned mine lands, with a lot of that money coming to West Virginia. The rules to regulate air pollution that Capito now criticizes, he said, would benefit West Virginians that are downwind or downstream of the most polluting power plants. These rules certainly will cost money for the industry, but they save money for citizens in the form of lower healthcare costs. Section 2. The second section talks about those cumulative effects, chiefly on power grid reliability. CotCon responded, efforts to increase use of electric vehicles will keep West Virginia's energy dollars in the state. Money spent for gasoline goes to oil companies in Texas and Oklahoma. Money spent on charging electric cars stays in West Virginia for West Virginia utilities. Section 3. The third section addresses the enormous financial toll of Biden's regulations. She cites Biden's and California's own analyses of the costs. 6 examples. The EV mandate for 2027 to 32, more than $500 billion. Waiver for California's 100% EV/hydrogen mandate by 2035, $210 billion. Biden truck EV mandate for 2027 to 32, $24 billion. Clean Power Plan 2.0, $14 billion. Biden Particulate Matter Rule, PM2.5, $7 billion. Natural Gas Tax Rule, $390 million. Increasing energy costs for consumer and deterring investment in climate solutions. CotCon responded that this ignores the fact that the transition actually creates more jobs and benefits consumers more than continued reliance on fossil fuels. Recent studies have shown that building new renewable electricity generation is cheaper than continuing to operate existing coal-fired power plants. Efforts to keep these older plants running will cost consumers more than closing them down, he said. West Virginians see this in the rate increases that keep coming year after year, including one just approved for Mon-Power customers. Investments in renewables also creates more jobs than the same amount invested in fossil fuels. Section 4. Capito calls this the Republican reality check on Biden's false claims. Here are 4. 1. New National Environmental Policy Act rules are not improving the federal environmental review process. 2. Low greenhouse gas hydrogen and carbon capture and storage are not adequately demonstrated. 3. It's not true that only bad actors will pay the natural gas tax. 4. Americans do not support a rush to EVs. CotCon responded that low GHG hydrogen and CCUS technologies have been available for years, and their cost is still much lower than the cost of continuing to emit toxic pollution and greenhouse gases. The major barrier to adoption is the lack of a regulatory requirement that they be used. Without a regulatory requirement, polluters would have a competitive advantage over clean energy sources, even though we all pay the cost of that pollution in our healthcare bills. Section 5. Here,